the next speaker has an interesting take, because he believes that in the future, where technology is growing so fast and innovating so rapidly, us humans will be even more important, and technology will become invisible. He comes from one company I've gotten to learn the last year. It is one of the largest companies in the world, one of the fastest growing companies in the world. They're the leaders in mobile phone globally, they're the leaders in kitchen globally, and they're leading in area and area after area. For a lot of people, Samsung is your television. For the ones that listen to this presentation, you will understand it's a lot more. So please welcome Head of Marketing and Innovation in the Nordics, Marko Nurmela. Take it away.
Thank you, Ola, for your kind introduction. So, as Ola said, my name is Marko Nurmela, and I'm heading the marketing and communication in Nordics, not the innovation. We've been today in many journeys already. Today, I'm going to talk about the race of humanity in technology. We've been in the space, we've been in the local markets, and we've been in different kind of spaces. But let me take you a little bit a time trip at the moment. So imagine that you all are in a time machine in this fantastic room, and you move 20 years back in history. You will show your device in your pocket to the people at that time. Would you believe that people at that time would actually think what you have in that device? You have all the information in the world in your fingertips. You have all the movies, you have all your social networks, all your friends, and by the way, shopping as well. At least that would have been a very difficult for me to understand at that point of time. And it's only 20 years back. That's how fast the world is changing at the moment. So let's continue our journey. Now let's move to 5 years into the future. So as the technology matures, the computing power still increases. In 5 years, the computing power and technology is 32 times where we are today. And we are starting already quite high level already right now. And this change we somehow can already understand. We know what's the implications. We heard today quite a lot of these, what is the cloud-based things and these kind of things. This is something that we can understand. Let's stay on this journey in this time machine and move even 5 years further. So 10 years where we are today. The computing power and technology will be more than 10,000 times where we are today, with the current day speed that is developing. This starts to build a kind of a different paradigm for the companies, for the societies, for the individuals. It opens up some new possibilities, but it also gives new challenges to us. And let's stay in one more leap with this time machine and move another 10 years in the future. So in 20 years, what the world will look like. With the current speed the technology is advancing, it will be 1 million times computing power what it is today. Only in 20 years. And this is something that is very hard to understand. It's very hard to understand what kind of challenges it will bring to individuals, to societies, to companies, and also what kind of opportunities it will give. Today, there are more than 7 billion mobile subscriptions, which represent 95% of the world population. Smartphones and the devices, it already become like a window in the world. It's our window to the world. With a lot of different opportunities, and it already has changed and enhanced our lives. We have more opportunities than ever. And it also already had empowered us to change the world. And this speed of changing is just increasing. The new technologies, they also change us. we have replaced, in many cases, the human interactions with these digital interactions. By the way, how many of you are now tweeting or watching your Facebook account in the audience? Technology is slowly starting to rewiring our brain as well. And it also has become a barrier reducing human interactions. We even use technology to babysit our kids. And the small kids, they've learned to favor this digital interaction ahead of the human interaction. Friends and family are losing their attractiveness as well. At least in my home, when we have a dinner at the weekends, the teenage kids, they are watching the online chats all the time under the table if they can't do anything else. And that's happening everywhere. The technology is creating endless opportunities, but it's also creating this generation of digital natives which favor totally different kind of interactions. The question then arises, does technology make us less human? Does it really make us less human? We know that it takes more and more of our time every day. It helps us in many ways in our work and in our lives, but it helps also to escape the reality. We know that it's shortening our attention span, but does it really make us less human? Does it really make us less human? I truly believe the opposite. I believe that technology makes eventually more human. The technology has the power to enhance the human interactions. When technology becomes invisible and moves on the background, we can get closer to the human interactions again. This is quite intriguing and quite beautiful thought at the end of the day. Humanity will eventually push the technology aside, because after all, we are humans. The technology will be part of our lives in a completely different way than it is today. And I believe it's true, particularly when it comes to the future, as we saw how fast the world is changing. We will see totally new user interfaces that are more human-like. Internet of everything will connect all your devices around you. Everything that you have in your home, in the work, in your car, everything in like a seamless network. And that will become like an electricity around us, or like a water, or a mobile network currently. And we don't even notice that it's there. Obviously, it's very hard to predict the future, but the future that I'm seeing, the human behavior is definitely the core of that one. The best technologies in the future will be built around the seamless integrated in our lives. And this is where really the humanity will raise above the technology. The Twitter co-founder, Jack Dorsey, said, the best technologies will fade in the background and become invisible. And I just read a good example on that one in the Amazon. Somebody actually made a study how many times a word railroad was mentioned last century in Amazon books, on all books that are published in the Amazon. At the beginning of the century, of course, it was mentioned many times, but now latter part, it was fading away. That's exactly what happened to technologies that we are using today. Very fast, these will fade on the background and become invisible. But what will drive this change? I believe that there are three things around this one. First of all, the new sensors that can start sensing us in a completely different way. The wearables, like I'm wearing here, the Galaxy Gear, is a one step on that direction, how I interact in world in different ways. But I believe that's just the beginning. There are already sensors that track your brain activity that we actually saw from Ula's example, and you can stimulate the brain. Imagine the gadget that can change your mood of mind or your thinking in a better ways. Picture actually a device who can actually train your brain. And this is not the future, this already exists. Muse is a headband that tracks different activities in your brain. The information is then transmitted and used in different various applications and train your brain to stay focused, for example, in certain things. If you know the phenomenon monkey brain, if you start to focus on reading the book, and suddenly you realize that the mind starts to wander in different topics, and another topics, and then you realize that you have read many pages, but you don't actually know what you've been reading. This device is actually something that can help you on that one. When you use it, it reminds you that your mind starts wandering away on that focus area that you want to focus, and you go back on that one. Again, when your mind starts to wander, it tracks you back on that one. And you can actually train your brain on that one, not just on reading, but even in human interactions, to keep you focused. Second is the technology that knows only who you are, but actually can start changing the way how you behave and think. And it can influence your mood and feelings. This already exists as well. Think is a quite secretive, well-funded startup in a valley. They believe the power and technology enhance the daily life. This device is sending ultrasonic waves to your brains to stimulate the brain cells or the connections between the brain cells. And they start influencing, for example, your state of mind and your energy levels. Imagine the possibilities what this can actually do for you. When you are feeling excited or when you are feeling like anxious, like I'm here in the stage, it can calm you down in that sense. Commercial versions of this are already on the way. Just think about the demand and what can it create when the mistake is in use. It is other demonstration that technology will become part of your everyday life. Thirdly, what we see is a development on a new, completely new, different kind of a user interfaces. Most of our relationship currently is based on the screen-based interactions. Although that lately some of the development been in the voice controlling interfaces like a Siri and Cortana. But I think that's just the beginning. The next phase we will see these motion-based interfaces coming to life. And this already actually exists at the moment. Leap Motion has created this motion control system. You can actually plug this small device into your laptop and you can start controlling, not just pointing out on writing or actually moving things, but really controlling what's into that screen. Imagine when this technology incorporated in daily lives, in a completely different level. You can start pointing things, and this tells you what that is and what you can do with that one, and what kind of opportunities it provides you, for example, in a e-commerce. And it will be only there when you need it. Otherwise, we don't even notice that it's there. When this all comes together, it will make room to more closer human relationships. Think about it. More focus will be used in person-to-person communication and human interactions again. We will not be trapped with that technology in your front all the time. This will start enhancing our lives. But this will be not easy. People are afraid of new things. They are afraid of change. And they are reluctant to try new technologies. But they are willing to do that when it's beneficial for them and when the technology is human-like. Our vision for the future is that everything will revolve on our needs. This is the core of humanity, and we are very thrilled about it. This will also place new demands on businesses. A completely new approaches and business models are required how to do these kind of things. In a world that actually spins faster and faster all the time. We need a more open and inviting business and innovation model. Acting alone, as we heard today in many cases, it's not enough anymore. Businesses that embraces the openness will succeed and be at the forefront of this people-inspiring innovation. Because the real innovation comes from connecting ideas. And people, partnership, and cooperations will play an important role on those things. And the speed of innovation will be also the key to survive in this world which is moving faster and faster. If you think about the digital divide, it's not just happening between the developing and developed countries. It is happening with the developing companies as well. It's happening in the societies where we live equally and even more in the future. So there will be companies who are left behind and companies who are leading this change. It's your decision where and which camp you want to be in. To prove that we are serious, and if you feel intrigued any of our ideas and concepts today, we ask to join our forces with our R&D center here in Nordics, which is actually in Finland. If you have an idea that you feel that needs to develop, and we feel that is strong enough, we have the capabilities to make it happen. We can offer the development and support global reach. And honestly, I believe that we can shape the future together. A future based on people and humanity. A future based on you and me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Marko.